Imagine waking up one morning to find that a single business deal is about to reshape not just a company, but the global landscape of healthcare, biotechnology, and, ultimately, human lives. What if the fate of millions suffering from rare and debilitating diseases depended on one bold acquisition? Today, we're diving deep into Sanofi's jaw-dropping $9 billion move to acquire Blueprint Medicines, a decision that's sending shockwaves through the pharmaceutical world. But is this mega deal a game changer for millions, or just another high-stakes gamble by Big Pharma? Let's pull back the curtain on what's really happening. For years, Sanofi, a French pharmaceutical titan, has been quietly shifting focus. Once known primarily for its blockbuster diabetes drugs, Sanofi's leadership team embarked on an ambitious mission to become the global leader in immunology. Their strategy? Aggressive investment, targeted acquisitions, and a relentless hunt for innovation, especially in rare diseases where the medical need is greatest. Enter Blueprint Medicines. Founded in Cambridge, Massachusetts, Blueprint started as a small biotech with a radical vision: to target the genetic root causes of diseases, not just their symptoms. Over the past decade, they've carved a niche in so-called precision medicine, designing drugs that home in on specific mutations, especially in rare blood and immune disorders. Their flagship breakthrough is Ayvakit, an approved treatment for a rare condition called systemic mastocytosis. Systemic mastocytosis, or SM, is a nightmare for the small population it affects. It's a disorder where certain immune cells, mast cells, multiply uncontrollably, invading the bones, organs, and skin. Symptoms can range from severe allergic reactions and unexplained pain to life-threatening organ dysfunction. Before Ayvakit, treatments were limited, offering only partial relief. Ayvakit works by targeting a mutation in the KIT gene, effectively blocking the overactive signals that drive the disease. The results? For some patients, a dramatic reduction in symptoms and a chance at a normal life. In 2024 alone, Ayvakit generated nearly $500 million in revenue, and Blueprint's own forecast suggests sales could quadruple by 2030. But Ayvakit is just the beginning. Blueprint's pipeline boasts promising experimental drugs like elenestinib and BLU-808, both aimed at broader allergic and inflammatory diseases. In a world where the immune system's mysteries are slowly being unlocked, these types of drugs hold immense promise, not just for rare diseases, but potentially for more common conditions as well. So, why did Sanofi swoop in, offering $129 per share, a 27% premium over Blueprint's latest closing price, and even sweeter milestone payments that could push the deal past $9.5 billion? CEO Paul Hudson summed it up best. This acquisition enhances our pipeline and accelerates our transformation into the world's leading immunology company, aligning with our strategic intent to strengthen existing therapeutic areas. Sanofi's move isn't just about drugs. It's about dominating a high-growth market. According to Technavio, the systemic mastocytosis treatment market alone is set to top $480 million by 2032, with a 6.2% CAGR. More broadly, rare disease therapeutics represent one of the most lucrative and fiercely contested arenas in pharma. Companies like Pfizer and Roche are all racing to capitalize on advances in genetics, diagnostics, and AI-driven drug design, where a single breakthrough can mean billions in annual sales. But behind the numbers lies a more human story. For patients with rare immunological diseases, new drugs can mean the difference between despair and hope. Kate Haviland, CEO of Blueprint Medicines, reflects this sentiment. This agreement allows us to begin our next chapter with Sanofi, whose leadership in rare disease and immunology will accelerate our mission. Sanofi is betting that Blueprint's innovative spirit, combined with its own global reach and resources, will produce blockbuster drugs faster and cheaper. And there's no time to waste. The competition is ruthless, regulatory hurdles are sky high, and developing these medicines is notoriously expensive. As rare disease expert Oksana Ilyach points out, the biggest challenge in rare disease drug development is not the science, but the staggering costs and timelines. Only the most innovative strategies and collaborations will succeed. Sanofi's recent track record suggests they're up for the challenge. Just a few years ago, Sanofi entered a strategic partnership with Nurix Therapeutics, shelling out millions to license cutting-edge technologies like the STAT6 program, all with the aim of strengthening their arsenal against type 2 inflammation and related diseases. In fact, Sanofi is now extending Nurix's license for $15 million up front. with performance milestones that could eventually total nearly $500 million. Does all this investment guarantee success? Not by a long shot. The path from lab to pharmacy shelf is fraught with risk. Every new drug faces a gauntlet of regulatory scrutiny, grueling clinical trials, and the ever-present threat of unexpected side effects. And then there's the question of price. Can these life-changing medicines reach the people who need them most, or will they remain out of reach? In the case of Ivakit, the early returns look promising. The drug is already generating hundreds of millions in annual revenue, with Q1 2025 alone bringing in almost $150 million, a staggering 60% increase over the previous year. For Sanofi, these numbers are more than just a windfall. They signal validation of the company's new strategic direction. By 2026, Sanofi expects its bottom line and its share price to feel the positive impact of this deal. Meanwhile, the blockbuster potential of Blueprint's pipeline is tantalizing investors and patients alike. BLU-808, in particular, is being tested in a range of allergic and inflammatory diseases, areas where the global burden is immense and where a single effective therapy could redefine standards of care. If Sanofi can shepherd these drugs through the regulatory maze and accelerate their launch, it could leapfrog competitors and cement its position atop the immunology hierarchy. But integrating a fast-moving biotech like Blueprint into the sprawling Sanofi empire is no small feat. The cultures are different, the speed of innovation varies, and aligning R&D priorities can be an exercise in frustration. Can a multinational with 90,000 employees adapt quickly enough to nurture Blueprint's nimble, risk-taking ethos, or will bureaucracy and red tape slow everything to a crawl? Let's not forget the technological arms race also underway in this space. Personalized medicine is evolving at a breakneck pace, powered by advanced diagnostics and, increasingly, artificial intelligence. Companies that harness these tools to find the right patient for the right drug at the right time are poised to rule tomorrow's pharma landscape. Sanofi knows this and hopes that Blueprint's precision medicine DNA and a growing portfolio of targeted therapies will give it the edge in a rapidly shifting market. Yet for all the optimism, the high stakes are undeniable. If the deal fails to deliver, if the anticipated blockbuster drugs stumble in clinical trials or regulatory authorities balk at safety concerns, Sanofi could be left holding a very expensive bag. Worse, patients with limited options could see their hope evaporate. Industry analysts are watching closely. As Bloomberg's AI research observes, Sanofi's acquisition of Blueprint Medicines expands its position in rare immunology and provides access to drugs treating systemic mastocytosis. But even with Ivakit and a promising pipeline, Sanofi faces formidable rivals and must navigate the unpredictable world of drug development. So, what comes next? How will Sanofi integrate Blueprint's culture and technology without losing its innovative spark? Will Ivakit and the next wave of precision therapies live up to the hype, or will competitors outpace them with next-generation solutions? As the dust settles on this $9 billion bet, one pivotal question looms. Can Sanofi turn its bold acquisition into a true revolution for patients and shareholders? Or will the promise of personalized immunology prove just out of reach? Join us after the break as we explore the make-or-break moments and the hidden risks that could decide the future of medicine. As Sanofi finalizes its monumental $9 billion purchase of Blueprint Medicines, the world of rare immunological diseases stands on the edge of rapid and complex transformation. The future is charged with promise, risk, and a race against both biology and business. What are the true consequences of this bold deal? How might it change the landscape for patients, investors, and the global healthcare market? Let's look ahead to the next critical chapters in this unfolding story. For Sanofi, this acquisition is far more than a transaction. It's a declaration of intent to become the unrivaled leader in rare immunology. But even as the ink dries on the contract, the company faces a daunting integration process that could make or break its ambitions. First, there's the considerable challenge of blending two very different corporate cultures. Blueprint, based in Cambridge, Massachusetts, is a biotech darling known for its agility and innovation. Sanofi, by contrast, is a pharmaceutical giant shaped by decades of tradition and bureaucracy. Integrating Blueprint's dynamic research teams and patient-centric ethos into Sanofi's global structure is not guaranteed to go smoothly. Friction could slow decision-making, dilute innovation, or even prompt critical staff departures. Industry experts like Oksana Ilyach point out that rare disease drug development is uniquely challenging, costly, slow, and requiring both nimble research and deep pockets. If Sanofi's traditional processes stifle the entrepreneurial spark of Blueprint, this acquisition could falter, no matter how promising the pipeline. Then there's the pipeline itself. Ivakeet's commercial triumph, nearly $480 million in 2024 revenues, with the promise of $2 billion annual sales by 2030, has made Sanofi's mouth water. But blockbuster drugs are rare in rare diseases, and sustained growth is never guaranteed. Systemic mastocytosis remains a relatively small market, even as diagnosis rates rise thanks to new technologies. If competitors release rival therapies, or if pricing pressures mount, Ivakeet's growth could stall. Perhaps even more consequential is the fate of Blueprint's late-stage experimental drugs, like BLU-808 and elenestinib. BLU-808, in particular, is at the heart of the deal's $400 million contingent value right. If clinical trials fail or regulatory hurdles prove insurmountable, Sanofi's gamble could turn into a very expensive misstep. History is filled with high-profile acquisitions where pipeline hopes fizzled into disappointment. Will BLU-808 deliver breakthrough results for allergic and inflammatory diseases, or will it join the long list of costly clinical failures? Paul Hudson, CEO of Sanofi, remains confident. This acquisition enhances our pipeline and accelerates our transformation into the world's leading immunology company, aligning with our strategic intent to strengthen existing therapeutic areas. His optimism is not unfounded. Sanofi's scale and resources could turbocharge development and commercialization, getting life-changing drugs to patients faster than Blueprint ever could alone. But scale is a double-edged sword. With greater resources come greater visibility and scrutiny, from regulators, from payers, and from patient advocates. Regulatory agencies in the US, Europe, and Asia will be watching closely, especially given recent global concerns about drug pricing and access. Delays or rejections could throw off even the most carefully built business cases. Meanwhile, competitors like Novartis, Roche, and Pfizer are not standing still. The rare disease space is heating up, with big pharma increasingly targeting niche indications where biologic drugs can command premium prices. Sanofi must innovate relentlessly or risk being outmaneuvered by rivals with deeper immunology portfolios or disruptive technologies. And then there's the wild card, artificial intelligence. The same AI tools that uncovered promising molecular targets for Blueprint now promise to accelerate drug discovery, optimize trial design, and even personalize dosing for individual patients. If Sanofi can harness these technologies, it could leapfrog the competition, or fall behind if it fails to keep pace. The market's verdict will not be immediate. Sanofi expects positive financial impact by 2026. For now, investors are watching every milestone, from quarterly Ivakeet revenues to clinical updates on BLU-808 to regulatory feedback in pivotal markets. Missed expectations could punish Sanofi's stock. Big wins could send it soaring. The fate of this gamble will play out in headlines, analyst reports, and perhaps most importantly, the lived experiences of patients waiting for new hope. So, what does this mean for viewers like you, whether you're an investor, healthcare professional, patient advocate, or simply fascinated by the high-stakes chess game of pharma? First, it's a reminder that biotechnology and pharmaceutical advances are not just about molecules and lab results. They're about strategic vision, timing, and the grit to navigate uncertainty. This deal will be scrutinized in business schools and boardrooms for years to come. Aspiring founders, scientists, and executives can learn from both the boldness and the intricacies of such a high-profile acquisition. If you're an investor, there are clear lessons here. Pipeline value is not just about the next big drug, but about the infrastructure and expertise to shepherd it from discovery to market. Sanofi's willingness to pay a 27% premium for Blueprint, and even more with successful milestones, reflects growing competition for innovative assets. For those eyeing biotech stocks, the story underlines the importance of due diligence, studying not just the science, but the track record and strategic fit of any acquisition target. For patients and advocates, the implications are deeply personal. The prospect of faster innovation and greater resources is encouraging, especially in rare diseases, where therapies are often scarce or unaffordable. But consolidation in pharma can also bring concerns. Will access improve, or will prices rise? Will rare diseases remain a priority post-acquisition, or will resources shift to more profitable areas? Patient voices, now more than ever, have a critical role to play in holding companies accountable. Healthcare professionals should also pay close attention. New treatments for systemic mastocytosis and related disorders could soon expand their toolkit, but only if education keeps pace and insurance coverage follows suit. The deal also serves as a reminder of the growing importance of genetic testing and personalized medicine, as targeted therapies become the standard rather than the exception. There's even a wider lesson about innovation itself. Dr. Kate Haviland, CEO of Blueprint Medicines, said it best. This agreement allows us to begin our next chapter with Sanofi, whose leadership in rare disease and immunology will accelerate our mission. The spirit of partnership, combining the agility of a biotech with the muscle of big pharma, might be the key to the next wave of medical breakthroughs. Next time you hear about a small startup getting acquired, remember, what happens after the headlines can matter just as much as the fanfare. So, does Sanofi's $9 billion gamble have what it takes to revolutionize rare immunological disease therapies? Or will it turn into a costly misstep? The answer, as always, will depend on relentless execution. If Sanofi can successfully integrate Blueprint's talent and preserve its culture of innovation while leveraging its own vast resources, the combination could set new standards for patient outcomes in diseases that have long been neglected. If, however, bureaucracy, cultural friction, or scientific setbacks get the upper hand, the deal could go the way of so many pharma mega deals: big promises, underwhelming delivery. There's already one promising sign: Sanofi's swift moves to license further programs in type 2 inflammation, including deals with Nurix Therapeutics, signal a commitment to broadening its immunology pipeline rather than resting on its laurels. The company is betting big not only on existing drugs like Ivakit, but on a whole ecosystem of next-generation therapies. And here's a secret fact you might not see in mainstream headlines. Behind the scenes, Sanofi is investing heavily in AI-powered drug development platforms. Insiders report that the company has quietly assembled a world-class team of computational biologists and data scientists to ensure that every stage, from molecule discovery to patient matching in clinical trials, is driven by cutting-edge analytics. This quiet revolution, more than any single acquisition, might just be Sanofi's ace in the hole for dominating the next era of immunology. In the months and years to come, keep an eye on this story. Watch out for clinical trial results, new product launches, and the ever-shifting dynamics between biotech and big pharma. The transformation of the rare immunological disease market is not just about corporate strategy. It's about lives changed, possibilities expanded, and the future of medicine itself. If you found this analysis valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into the biggest stories shaping health and biotech. What do you think? Will Sanofi's mega deal spark a new era of patient breakthroughs, or are the risks too great? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters. And if you want to go even deeper into these topics, check out the links in the description for our full report on rare disease innovation.